Audio check, 1, 2, 3, audio check. Here we are, everybody. Welcome to F126 here at the Talk Titans Racing League for Tier 3 this season, as we're here tonight with a record number of cars on the grid that I personally commentated on an F1 game, with 21 cars currently on the in the server, in the lobby, not on the track just yet. Well, I'm sure we'll be seeing them out on track very, very shortly indeed. But looking forward to another great season here on the new F1 game. Obviously, it's still the F125 game, but the special 2026 edition. And to be fair, it's been a big overhaul. You've got updates to the tracks, you've got completely new cars, new drivers, an extra 2 seats on the grid. So pretty much it's like you'd expect from a new game, really. It's got everything that you could ask for from a new game. So it's going to be exciting to see these guys putting the cars through their paces here tonight, as we see them getting themselves out onto the circuit. It's going to be the first full race that I've ever commentated on the F126 game. Commentated on an F125 lobby the other day, Thursday night, to get myself back into the swing of it. It's been a while since I commentated, but tonight it's not about me. It is about these 21 drivers out on the track getting ready to kickstart their season here in the third tier of the Talk Titans Racing League. First out on the track, James McKenn, soon followed by Woody and Ernie, and shortly after them, Fleming onto the track for the first time here this season. And lots of drivers just I think deciding what tyres to use. It looks like it's going to be intermediate tyres for the time being. The track looks a little bit damp, maybe a bit of standing water in places, but there's certainly no need to panic and move to the wets just at the moment. I think that the track in a decent condition for the time being. We might even be seeing some slick tyres, because it doesn't look to be too much spray, although there's certainly rain in the air and certainly damp conditions out on the circuit. So it's going to be an interesting one over the course of this session. If the track improves, then the drivers will be needing to be ready to get back out on the circuit. It's going to be one of those sessions where you can't relax or rest on your laurels at all, because if you do that, then it could well and truly be, the difference between a top 10 and back of the grid. It really could. So it's those tricky sort of conditions, those intermediary conditions, where the track, if it stopped raining for 5 minutes, the track would be, you'd be finding seconds of lap time very, very quickly. But going to quickly go through who's in what car here for this season. So just in no particular order, we've got Cam McKenzie and Penrose driving in the Mercedes cars. Penrose, the admin, the owner of this Talk Titans Racing League. We've got, I don't know the owner, I know he's definitely an admin. Glennon, Apex Joe in the Audis. We've got Ocean Blade and Zebra Gaming in the Haas cars. And then we've also got Fleming and Ev the Legend in the McLarens. We've got Sonic Gammy and C-Mac driving in the Ferraris. C-Mac, a driver I'm familiar with from Purple Sector. James McKenn in the Cadillac alongside CT Sori. Then we've got in the Alpines Funny Wave Band and Ernie, a driver who I commentated on his league actually. Can't do tonight, Ernie, if you're listening. Sorry, mate. I'm working at 6 o'clock in the morning, so I can't stay up for it this time. Hopefully I'll be able to commentate on your league. He runs a midnight league a bit later on in the evening here tonight, but unfortunately it's a bit too late for me. Operates out of the US, does Ernie. We've got the V-Carbs of Berza and Woody. Jordan in the Red Bull this season alongside Posty. Then we've got Carl and Salates in the Williams. Urban Pitbull and Ollie driving in the Aston Martins for this season. And I think I've covered everyone. I think that's all of them. Apologies if I missed anyone out. I don't think I have. I think I've covered all the drivers, the teams and drivers for this season. as I think the first drivers to get out onto the track are going to be completing the laps pretty shortly, as we've currently got Fleming out there at the moment. Also, we've got who else was quickly out of the gates? I guess Fleming was the one that really caught my attention. James McKenn was a very early one out of the gates. Looks like his first lap was invalid though, because it's not appeared on the timing board. A 1:43 it was in terms of the actual lap time. But it's quicker than Woody so far. Ernie goes to top leaderboard, so Ernie on a 42.8, Woody on a 44 dead for the time being. As we see Ollie here coming down the hanger straight. So Ollie will be putting a lap pretty shortly. Fleming there 41.5. I think we're going to see quick improvements here because it's not raining that heavily. I wonder if maybe they're shedding more water than what's being laid down by the clouds here at Silverstone. So potentially we could be seeing lap times improving as the session goes on. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see that. Jordan Hillier moves up into second place, currently just over 7/10 off the provisional pole time. Ollie there goes into P1, 41.4 there from Ollie. That's a lovely lap there. Berza P3 for the time being. Jordan Hillier is currently fourth. But yeah, the time's coming thick and fast at the moment. Zebra Gaming there goes to top of the board by some way as well, 40.7. I don't want to discredit any of the guys who have done their lap times later on there, but I think potentially the track might be improving as they're going along. It's very short drizzle, very short light drizzle at the moment, falling from the skies here on this F126 game at Silverstone. So I think potentially we might be seeing some improvements coming in thick and fast as long as the track, or rather the rain, doesn't get any heavier here. Cam Mackenzie's gone up into provisional pole on a 1 per minute 40.6 so far. Ocean Blade's currently out there as well. Ocean Blade going to be commentating on Ocean Blade's league on Wednesday nights as well. Looking forward to that. I've forgotten the name Ocean Blade. I'm terribly sorry. I've taken on a lot of commentary roles lately, and I cannot possibly remember all of them just yet. I will once I've actually commentated on them, but I'm looking forward to that. That'll be on Wednesdays. I know that for sure. James McKenn's gone into third place on a 1 minute 40.8. Just for reference, there, James McKenn's lap time, which was invalidated on the previous lap, was a 1:43, so he's found over 2 seconds there, just in that one lap, since obviously the first flying lap. So that just goes to show really the track is certainly improving at this point. So I think we'll be seeing a continuation of the track evolution as this session continues to roll onwards. Penrose there up into fourth place, currently 7/10 off of the pace at this moment in time. So Jordan, I think he's just had a cool down lap there, and he's gone for another lap. So I think he's going for another crack at it here. Is Jordan Hillier in the Red Bull? We'll come to him a bit later on as he's got a fair way of the lap to go. Glenn goes up into fourth place there. Glenn, the two-time champion in the purple sector Formula 1 league, there on a bit of a break for the summer, I think. So hopefully they'll be back at some point. At the moment, I think I've spoken to a couple of people about about Tuesdays, but I'm not 100% down for anything on that just yet. So hopefully Purple Sector do get back together again. But Ocean Blade's got into 8th place with that previous lap. 41.4 there for Ocean Blade, currently 9/10 of a second off for the fastest time, which is pretty healthy. Jordan's just coming out of Cops Corner. Let's keep an eye on the top right hand corner, see what the time is in relation to his previous best, and that will give us a clue as to where he might be in the reckoning in terms of the overall picture on the leaderboard here. Jordan coming out of Beckett's here onto the hanger straight. Let's see what the time is. He's currently 6/10 up on his personal best. His personal best is 41. Well, it's 42.3. That put him a bit higher than what he is, but it's still a little way off of the top runners here. Here comes Jordan Hillier then. Well, it definitely looks like it's dried out considerably in this final sector, so this could be a big improvement here from Jordan Hillier. Penrose has gone up into the top spot there with a 39.7. Jordan around the final corner, what is it going to be? He goes up into 9th place for the time being, so still work to do there for Jordan. Penrose currently setting the pace here by 8/10 of a second over Ev the Legend as we're halfway through this opening qualifying session of the season here for the TTRL. Oh my goodness, there's a V-carb there facing the wrong way. So that was Woody there, who just got it a bit wrong there going through Luffield. and he's going to be getting back onto the track pretty shortly, I would have thought. Cam Mackenzie is on an absolute screamer right now, currently 9/10 up through the middle sector. That would already put him on for pole. Doesn't need to ace this final sector, but I'm sure he's going to want to here. Cam Mackenzie out of final corner and over the line, and it's provisional pole there by 0.2 of a second, so nicely done there. Posty up into third place, 40.0 there for Posty. Still a lot of time in this session, the track's going to continue to improve. I wouldn't be surprised to see some drivers putting on the slick tyres in the final part of this session, because that track looks bone dry. I know it isn't, you can see there's like a bit of dampness off of the racing line, but I reckon as long as drivers can keep the car on that racing line, I think that we're pretty much going to be at the crossover point now. At least that's what I can see from my point of view. Maybe it's a bit different on the circuit. A lot of these drivers have wheels, you can feel this part of the track surface with the dual shock 5, so maybe, just maybe, I might be maybe I'm a commentator for a good reason. But Pitbull currently in third place, 0.3 of a second off the provisional pole time, which is now being set by Carl, because Carl's got down to 39.3, so currently 0.2 of a second ahead of Cam Mackenzie at the top of the leaderboard. Sorry Carl, I completely missed that one as I was rambling on about something else completely unrelated. As James McKenn's back out on the track. Funny Wave Band currently on what looks to be an in-lap. We've got Berza there going top of the pile there with a 39.0, 0.3 clear of Carl. And I think we're going to be seeing a continuation of this for the foreseeable. We see a few drivers now coming into the pits for some slick tyres. We've got Ocean Blade and Sonic both putting the softs on. Ocean Blade's out onto the circuit now, so let's right on board here with the Haas driver and see how he's faring. Ev the Legend's also gone for the soft, so's Ernie. We're seeing lots of drivers piling into the pits now, so I think that almost certainly the fastest time of this session is going to be set on the slicks. So it really is a no-brainer at this point. The track looks pretty good. Ocean Blade tentative onto the throttle there coming out of left field, but I think they just need drivers out there on the slick tyres, just rubbering in that racing line, and then most likely by the end of this session we're going to be seeing the times absolutely plummet. I reckon we're probably looking at low to mid 135s once all this shakes out. Probably not the ultimate pace, because I reckon the track's still just a little bit slippery, but I think we're going to be seeing very close to the low 130s here. Ocean Blade currently coming down the hanger straight with the first driver on the slick tyres to do a lap. The furthest stop of anyone so far. The McLaren in the background of Ev the Legend, I think, is it? No, that's not Ev the Legend, that is Fleming, who's also, no, it's not McLaren. Don't know what it was. Do need to get my eyes tested by the looks of it, clearly. Ocean Blade's going to be the one, the test dummy here, to try and find out what sort of state these tyres are going to be faring. These slick tyres. We're going to be watching on that top right hand corner for the duration of this lap here, as Ocean Blade comes through Abbey and Village here on this flying lap on the soft tyres. Pretty tidy through there so far, certainly nothing out of the ordinary. So Ocean Blade now coming out of the loop onto the Langton straight here. Funny Wave Band's just improved there on the intermediate tyres to 38.8, but I think that the Inters have had their day in the sun here at Silverstone. I think that it's now going to be very much a turn of the books here for these soft tyres. Ocean Blade out of Luffield. Maybe one corner where they didn't look so confident, those soft tyres. But nonetheless, we'll keep our eyes on the top right hand corner, because in a few corners time that's going to be absolutely pivotal. This is the part of the track where some slick tyres on a dry track can really make the difference. Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. So here comes Ocean Blade then out to the hanger straight. Let's keep an eye. 4 seconds up through the middle sector. I said low 130s, and by the way, I don't mean low 130s as in 130s, I mean 32s, 33s maybe for pole, is what I'm predicting. But Ocean Blade's coming into the pits having, well, 4 seconds up through the middle sector for God knows why. Ocean Blade's coming into the pits. I really don't know why. That is quite bizarre. Anyway, everybody except Zebra Gaming, Salates and Funny Wave Band currently on the soft tyres, and C-Mac goes fastest there on a 136.8. But yeah, that's I mean, I really don't know why Ocean Blade came in there. But anyway, funny wave band. Zebra Gaming and Salates are still on the intermediate tyres. I'm sure that will change in a few moments' time. Cam starting a lap here on the soft tyres as well. A lot of drivers in the pits here. Are they just waiting for the optimal track conditions at the end? Maybe that's why. That could be actually the reason. That could be the reason why Ocean Blade came in, because maybe Ocean Blade was concerned that finishing that lap would have left not enough time to get round to get a new set of soft tyres on and maximise the track conditions. I reckon that might be the case, you know. Which is actually a very smart call, because we're seeing those sector times. It'd be very easy to be blinded by that and getting a bit excited, but that's actually a very, very smart call in a pressurised situation there. That's impressive, I have to say. That is impressive composure. But Urban Pitbull is also out on the track. So we've got C-Mac on his way in after setting that provisional pole time there. Apex Joe's out there as well. We've got James McKen, who's 2.5 seconds up on his personal best there through the first sector. Like they're saying, come on Lewis. I imagine he's not talking about anyone in this race. Lewis Hamilton, eh? Look at that. Getting his first win for Ferrari. I'll tell you what, during the VSC, the first lap under the VSC, I was shouting at the TV saying get him in, get him in, get him in. And I honestly thought Ferrari had bottled it, but luckily the VSC came out for stay out for just long enough that he could actually get in on the next lap, and just about got out in front of the Mercedes cars, didn't he? I mean, that was close, but to be fair, even if he hadn't, I think he'd have passed them easily. And they were also saying, and I agree, that if he hadn't have had the VSC, I think he would have probably caught them and passed them anyway, because he had the pace today, clearly. I'm okay, mate. Are you alright, Lightweight? Good to see you. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's always a little while, isn't it? It's to be fair, I don't think these appearances are ever regular, but it's good to see you, mate. Good to see you. James McKen into the top spot there on a 32.7. Apex Joe currently 4/10 adrift, so the soft tyres are now clearly the right tyre of choice. And a lot of these drivers have really thought smartly here, because they stayed in the pits for obviously the when the track is evolving, and have got out of the track on the track at the last minute as the track is improving. So yeah, it's very smart driving from a lot of these guys, or not smart driving, but smart strategizing here from a lot of the drivers. As we got a caution through sector 3, a driver's gone off, I think. Jordan Hillier there, top of the pile on a 132.3. A driver, I remember I was speaking to him before the start of last season. It might have even been 2 seasons ago, because honestly I don't think I was here much for last season. It might have been 2 seasons ago. Jordan Hillier talking about challenging for the title here in this third tier of the TTRL, but it seems like he might have his dream might be coming true, although Carl goes to the top of the board there by 0.3 of a second. Not much of a difference at the moment between them. So we've got Berza, who's currently well, he's not 2.5 seconds up on his personal best. That was the previous lap time. Cam Mackenzie, oh my goodness, look at that, is absolutely destroyed that time there by Carl. The likes of Jordan and Carl are now going to be in a bit of a pickle here, because they can't do another lap here. Jordan's used up his tyres, probably is out. He's probably going to be running out of fuel at the end of this lap, so Jordan is going to have to sit there in third place and hope that not too many drivers improve here. But really, in these conditions on a drying track, you want to be out there as late as you possibly can. So Cam Mackenzie currently still P1 here in this session. We've got Carl in P2, just coming into Copse Corner once again, as Jordan Hillier here is just coming down the hanger straight, and will be coming into the pits pretty shortly here. Woody goes up into P2 on a 31.5, and Ollie now 0.6 clear of Cam. The track is ramping up incredibly quickly here. Who else is out there now? Are we going to be seeing anybody else improving here at the end of the session? Jordan is going round again. He's not going to get round in time. It's going to be session done here for Jordan, and we've all got Carl there moving up into, no, not Carl, Zebra moving up into 4th place there. It's all going off here. Drivers are absolutely plumbing in the laps right at the end here. James McKen is currently 0.7 up through the first sector. The middle sector could be pivotal here. because 7 tenths in the first sector does bode well. He's currently 2.5 seconds off for the pole time. CT Sori has now got up into P1. Ernie's got up into third place as well. Ocean Blade P4. It's all happening right now. What about Cam Mackenzie? Is he on another lap? No, he's not. So James McKen could be the one to spoil the party here for TT Sori and potentially get pole position, a second and a half up through the middle sector. Posty's gone up into P6, 31-1. James McKen here through the Vale chicane and into Club Corner. Ev the Legend now on provisional pole. What can James McKen do? P6, couldn't get there. Ev the Legend is now on pole position. Now what about Sonic? Is Sonic going to improve? And if so, what's it going to be? Sonic goes up into P13. So that is going to be that then for the qualifying session here for the opening round of the Talk Titans Racing League Tier 3 here tonight. So Ev the Legend there, putting it on pole, and it wasn't particularly close, I have to say. 4 tenths of a second, almost half a second between Ev the Legend and CT Sori. So clearly a level above here in this qualifying session, but a long way to go. And it's going to be an exciting one over the course of this, next sort of 45 minutes to an hour, depending on safety cars and depending on weather, of course. But pardon me, that was a hiccup. So yeah, it should be hopefully they'll give us a great night of action here at the TTRL. They usually do. So I think the game might be a bit bugged here, because there we are, taking a bit longer to transition through to the standing screen, but that is it. That is your pole sitter there in the McLaren. Seems to be a bit of a formation celebration there with his teammate Fleming. So that is that then for qualifying. Race will be live very shortly on this stream as well. Not going to start a new one. Only run separate videos for qualifying on the race when I post it afterwards, but touch wood, I'll be streaming live tonight for the whole thing. But I've got to keep an eye on it, obviously. Temperamental, this thing. But anyway, let's go. Let's hope for a great race. I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Welcome back everybody, as we're here for the formation lap for an opening round of the Talk Titans Racing League Tier 3, as we've got Ev the Legend here starting this one on pole position ahead of CT Sori, who'll be lining up on the front row with Ollie and Ernie there on the second row. 5th and 6th are going to be occupied by Fleming and James McKenn, with Ocean Blade in 7th, followed by Cam McKenzie. Posty in 9th, with Carl completing the top 10. And we've got Zebra Gaming in 11th, followed by Sonic 12th. Jordan Hillier lining up 13th alongside Apex Joe, with C-Mac, Woody, Funny Wave Band, Berza, Urban Pitbull in 19th ahead of Penrose in 20th. And then we've got Salates and Clen rounding out the classification there on the back row of the grid. So we're about halfway around the formation lap here, coming on the run between Cops and Maggots, and drivers keeping a tight formation here. Obviously lots of the drivers towards the back will be wanting to make sure they don't sit there on the, or rather the drivers at the front probably want to make sure they don't end up sat on the grid for too long, so they want to keep this pack bunched up behind them if they possibly can. Right, here we go then, British Grand Prix for the Talk Titans Racing League here tonight. This is the third tier that you're watching here, live on my channel Clegg Comms. And here we go then, Ev the Legend lining up on P1. Looks like good weather conditions so far. I'm sure most of the drivers will be hoping it stays that way. You'll always get a couple of lunatics who want it to absolutely tip down, but I think most of them just want a stress-free season opener here tonight. As the excitement's starting to build here, 22 cars on the grid, a packed out season opener here for the Talk Titans Racing League. Brilliant to see. This is the third tier of their league, and they've filled the grid up. It's absolutely phenomenal to see. As here we go then, the lights are going to come on in just a moment, and we will hear the engine revs ride, and we'll go for the British Grand Prix for the Talk Titans Racing League. Season 1 on F1 26, and it is lights out, and we are underway. It looks like a good start there from Ev the Legend, but CT Sori alongside, almost into turn 1, but Ev the Legend holds on to it for the time being. We see a bit of damage there as Ollie seemed to clip the back of CT Sori, and Ernie swoops around the outside of Ollie up into third place. Is he going to have that move done though coming through Village? It looks as though Ollie on the inside there is going to try and hang on to this one. Ernie can't keep it around the outside for the time being. Ollie retains third place for now, as we've got James McKenn there getting passed around the outside by Ocean Blade, although Ocean Blade seems to be on the inside there for the for Brooklands, and Ernie's trying to hold it around the outside here, but gets passed there by Cam McKenzie, who swoops around the outside here of Luffield. Is that going to be job done here for Cam? Better exit, better trajectory around that corner, as now we've got Ocean Blade and Ollie side by side here through Luffield. They both got the running on CT Sori, as Ollie's able to use the slipstream from CT Sori to his advantage there going into Cop's corner, and able to hold on to that one for the time being. We see a driver going incredibly wide there out of Cop's corner. Was that I think that might have been was that Ollie there that went wide out of Cop's corner? I'm not 100% sure at this moment in time, but it's Ev the Legend who leads the race ahead of CT Sori as they come down the hanger straight here for the first time. And we've got Cam McKenzie here making the move on Ocean Blade up into third place into Stowe corner, and Cam McKenzie there up into that position. See Urban Pitbull here making a move up the inside of trying to go up the inside here. He's made the move on C-Mac there up into 12th place. C-Mac here losing out to Penrose as well. Penrose up into 13th place, goes around the outside there into the Vale chicane. Ollie into the pits at the end of the first lap. Was there a jump start there for Ollie? I'm not sure. Maybe it was a damage into turn 1. We did see some carbon fibre going off for the car there as he went into the back of CT Sori there into turn 1. But Ev the Legend currently leading the race here by half a second at the moment ahead of CT Sori. Cam there in third place, followed by Ocean Blade. James McKenn there just ahead of Ernie for the time being, with Carl, Zebra, Posty and Funny Wave Band completing the top 10 so far here in this race. But they're going to have overtake, they're going to have straight mode as well on this lap, so that's going to help out the cars to within 1 second of the car in front. And at this point, CT Sori looking pretty racy here on the back of Ev the Legend as they come out of Luffield. He's going to get some good slipstream here down the old pit straight down towards Cop's corner. But I tell you what, that overspeed is absolutely incredible here, and just got there a bit too late. I think he probably could have gone for it. That was a 50-50 there, I have to say. On the second lap of the race, maybe it was smart of him not to go for that one. I'm pretty sure if that was the final lap, that he would have gone for that. I certainly would have done. I would have considered going for that on the second lap. I think I was almost ready for him to make it up at the inside there, but CT Sorry thought better of it. Probably a wise decision there. Cam Mackenzie watching this unfold behind them. James McCann is very close on Ocean Blade, and in fact has actually been passed there by Ernie. So Ernie's gone around the outside of James McCann. He was pretty close to the car in front of him, but Ernie now up into P5 with all of that going on. Zebra's got ahead of Posty up into 8th place. Posty's going to try and hold it around the outside. Is that going to be possible? No. Zebra Gaming gets that one done there. Woody in the meantime is on the back of Apex Joe in the fight for 13th place. We've also got Fleming here getting ahead of Salates up into P17 as well. So plenty of action here in the opening couple of the laps of the race. Ev the Legend out the front with just under a second of a gap over CT Sorry at the moment. Cam Mackenzie there has got Ocean Blade crawling all over the back of him at the moment, but they've all got overtake on each other at the moment. So it's not going to be too much opportunity for the drivers in this train of cars. As James McKenn's now got ahead of Ernie up into P5. Whilst we're watching the battle of the cars just ahead of them, Carl up the inside of Ernie as well. So Ernie getting a bit swamped here on this lap. Carl's going to try and have to hold it around the outside here of Ernie, as Ernie's trying to hold his ground, and looks like he's managed to do so for the time being. But now Carl's going to get the slipstream down the old pit straight in the foreground. In front of them you can see James there getting ahead of Ocean Blade as well. So James McKenn's went up another place on lap 3 of this race. Ernie for the time being has hung on to P6 ahead of Carl, doing very well there, managing to hold his ground very nicely indeed, as we've got the Zebra Gaming, Posty and Urban Pitbull, these three fighting it out, and Posty now looking up the inside of Zebra Gaming into Chapel Curve. And is that going to be possible to hold on to? It doesn't look like he's going to be able to at the moment. Zebra Gaming getting back ahead on the exit. Urban Pitbull now getting ahead of Posty up into 9th place as well. As Ocean Blade and Ernie going at it here through Stowe Corner, and Ocean Blade seems to have made that move for the time being. Ernie looking to the inside into the Vale chicane. In the background there, James McKenna a little bit late on the brakes. Carl still waiting in the wings behind them at the moment. Posty there's got ahead of Funny Wave Band as they're fighting it out. Funny Wave Band have briefly got ahead of him there, but Funny Wave Band there completes that move on the exit of Club Corner into 11th place. What a race in the opening few laps of the races. Ernie now looking at the inside of into Village on Ocean Blade. Ocean Blade for the time being looking good for that one. And Ev the Legend out the front with just under a second of a gap at the moment over Cam Mackenzie, but long way to go here in this race. Cam Mackenzie starting to drop off of Ocean Blade just a little bit at this point. Sorry, not Ocean Blade, Ev the Legend should I say. Don't know why I said that. I was looking at Ocean Blade. Do apologise there, Ev the Legend. You're obviously the leader, mate, not Ocean Blade. But CT Sorry is currently piling the pressure here on the back of Cam Mackenzie. Thing is though, Cam's always just brought that gap down a little bit to Ev the Legend over the course of this lap, and that's going to help him out in his attempts to try and keep CT Sorry behind, because obviously now with having the overtake on the car in front is a very good way of being able to defend your position from the car who's all over the back of you. So Ocean Blade in the meantime, it's got a bit of a train of cars here behind him. Ernie, James and Carl currently looking very hot on the heels of the Haas driver, and also Ocean Blades could be at risk here because he seems to have dropped out of a second here. So Ernie now taking full advantage, and look at that, onto the grass there goes James McKenna as he made the move there on Ocean Blade. Ocean Blade losing 3 places in the space of one hanger straight there, as now there's James McKenna looking to the inside of Carl, a little bit too far back, almost, oh my goodness, I think that's a bit of a carbon fibre there going off the back of James McKenna's car as he missed his braking point a little bit there. The front right end plate I think has come off, has it? Not quite sure, we'll have to check on that in a second. But Ernie and Carl currently running in 4th and 5th. James McKenna making his way through. Ocean Blade still on the back of these at the moment. Now we'll get the overtake, and I don't know if Ernie was within 1 second there of CT Sorry to get the overtake on this lap. If not, Ernie could be in big trouble over the course of this particular tour around this Silverstone circuit. So he basically, if it wasn't within that second on CT Sorry there, then he will be very vulnerable, as we see CT Sorry in the meantime making a move up the inside of Cam Mackenzie into Luffield. These two go, they're still side by side, and Cam Mackenzie made that move back air on CT Sorry. CT Sorry though says, oh, you're gonna have to get up early in the morning if you want to get me there, as he gets in on the undercut there, coming out through the old pit straight in towards corner. But Cam for the time being hangs on to that one as these two continue to give it a great fight there in second and third places. Carl here all over the back of Ernie at the moment as they're coming down towards Maggots and Beckett's once again, but it looks like Ernie has managed to retain the gap under a second here to these guys ahead, which means that he'll benefit enormously from the overtake. So it looks like he's avoided that particular skirmish there of falling out of that second zone and being very vulnerable to the cars behind. But Carl at the moment looking to pile the pressure on the back of Ernie. James McKenn's dropped out of that a little bit there. Obviously got a bit of damage this time a lap ago coming into this very corner, and James for the time being staying out, judging it's probably not worth a pit stop. Ocean Blade into the pits, and well, it's clear why. The front left end plate is missing, so Ocean Blade's had a few problems over the course of the last couple of laps here, and seems like the culmination of it was a bit of damage there on the car. Penrose in the meantime looking to the inside into turn 1 on the zebra, and that's job done there. Can you type your PSN name in the chat please, mate? Alco. Wait, are you Ocean Blade? Are you Ocean Alco? No, wait, you can't be, because... Just let me know who you are, mate. Sorry. Anyway. Just let me know who you are. Ev the Legend still leads the race by just under a second here to Cam. CT Sori still there in the background ahead of Carl. Ernie there. The top 5 currently separated by about 2 seconds at the moment, so not too much between them. It's certainly going to be all of these guys in a fight for this race win here. I think that's pretty certain at this point. James McKenn, I think, would have been in that fight, but losing, well, getting a bit of damage there on the car a couple of laps ago, I think, has really hurt him in this race. I think he probably needs a safety car out now to have a good chance here in this one. But it looks like Ev the Legend and Cam have just managed to extend the gap a little bit here over CT Sori and Carl. As we've got Zebra Gaming now into the pits here at the end of lap 6. Also Urban Pitbull into the pits as well. So lots of drivers piling in at this point. C-Mac there has been hit with a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pits. That is absolutely gutting there for C-Mac. Now, I think he'll probably be able to serve it at this pit stop, actually. Is he going to... I think he is. Oh, I don't know. Didn't really get to see that. I think maybe he didn't. I know in real life F1, if you don't serve a penalty at the next available opportunity, you get hit with a drive-through. We saw that with George Russell at Monaco, which is a really funny rule, to be honest, because a lot of drivers get the 10-second penalties added after the race if they don't take them. So I don't understand why, if you come into the pits... you have to serve it. It doesn't make much sense. The Imperfect Biscuit. What's your PSN, mate? Posty00, thank you. Alright, go on then. Right, I'm not making a habit of this, guys, please. Alright, this is... I'll do it on this occasion, though. I don't think I've got you. Mate, I don't think I've got you. Yeah, just send me an invite, bro, because I can't add you. I can't add you during the race. I can send invites to people I've added. I can't add you during the race. It's impossible. You can't add people when you're in spectator mode. You can only invite people that are already on your friends list. Oh, God knows. I really don't know, mate. I'm sorry. I really don't know what my EA ID is. I have no idea. If there's a safety car, I'm sure they'll get you in anyway. I'll tell you what we need to do, right? And this goes, anyone watching this back afterwards, any of the drivers who are racing, if in case this happens, I'll make it known for the next race. Anyway, just DM me on Discord. I'll find it out if anyone wants to have this insurance policy. But I can't make a habit of it. I mean, I'll probably do 3 a race and then just say that's it. You know, because otherwise it will completely ruin the stream. But I can sort of, yeah, a couple of people, if it happens, I'm willing to do it. As Posty there loses out to Woody. Woody up into P9 as Posty about to ghost through. Obviously, that's Posty's AI who's fighting with Woody. So that's not going to drag on too long, I wouldn't have thought. Cam Mackenzie's taken the lead off of Ev the Legend. So for the first time, Ev the Legend not in the lead of this British Grand Prix here for TTRL Tier 3. There's Carl in the background just ahead of CT Sori. Ernie currently all over the back of CT Sori here in this fight for third place. But the battle still rages on. Out the front here between Cam Mackenzie and Ev the Legend. Under a second between them, well under a second. Carl looks to be potentially creeping into this fight as well. As in the background, we've got Ernie looking to the inside of CT Sori there into Brooklyn's, just a bit too far away at the moment. James McKen there running in P6 ahead of Penrose, who's made really good progress in his opening few laps with Penrose. To be fair, I think got a bit caught out by the track improvements at the end of qualifying. Started down, and I think it was very, very low down. Might have been third or fourth to last. It's made its way up into 7th place here, so it's been an absolutely stonking first few laps here from the league admin. Got Posty here getting ahead of Woody up into P10 as well. Woody seems to be going backwards a little bit here at this point, has to be said. As Apex Joe there moving up into P11 down the old pit straight. Zebra Gaming there with a 3-second time penalty, which is not going to be what he wanted, I'm sure. As Ollie and Urban Pitbull are side by side here, coming around Woodcote and down towards Cops Corner now. And Ollie there backs out of that one for the time being. These two obviously running up near the front, and Ollie should have had a 7-lap undercut on him, but it's pretty close to him, and obviously the tyres should be very much in Urban Pitbull's favour here, as Urban Pitbull has just made his move on Zebra Gaming up into P16. Ollie will try and follow suit, I would have thought. As James McKin there into the pits. Oh, I've just had a friend request here from Madney. Okay, I don't know who Madney is. Who's Madney? Anyone want to wait, Alco, are you Madney on thingy? God, this is doing my head in. Anyway, Zebra Gaming up into P14 has made the move on James McKen. Obviously James McKen on fresh soft tyres, so I think that roles will probably switch in a few moments time. Woody's making a move there on Apex Joe up into P10. That looks to be a job done there for him. James McKen on the back of Zebra Gaming. Those tyres should be warm now after a couple of corners. The soft tyres don't take much to get up to temperature. Alcohol. Cool. Right, that's all I need to know. Right. There you go, mate. Sorted. You need a safety car now. Right. Wait, Berza, what's your Berza? Can you type in the chat what my ID is, my EA ID is, please, just quickly, because Posty wants to get back in as well. Are you able to do that, mate? If you're still listening, please say you're still listening. Because I have no idea what my EA ID is, but clearly you do. Someone's obviously given it to you. I don't know what it is. I know it's a derivation of Andy CWFC, but I don't know where the underscore is. It's like, could be at the start, could be at the end, I don't know. It wouldn't let me choose my PlayStation name, I know that. But anyway, Carl and Ed the Legend and Cam Mackenzie still fighting out here, these top three, with just about a second between them at the moment, as they're coming through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. But Carl's still showing the way at this point. There's Berza there. What the hell? Apparently he's done a lap in a quarter of a second. I've got to say that's quite the achievement there from Berza. I don't know what he's driving, but I have a feeling it might not be legal. Anyway, Carl with a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's going to be music to the ears of Ed the Legend and Cam Mackenzie. Ernie, not too far away, will jump him as well once all is said and done. Now, does Carl serve the penalty now? No. So I think you must not be able to serve a penalty that you've accrued during that pit stop. I think it has to be a separate one, so that will be added to his race time by the looks of it, because it will be a one-stop strategy, I'm pretty sure. That's James McKenn there with the fast step of the race so far in the Cadillac. James McKenn currently running in P10, P9 now, with Zebra Gaming coming in. So the drivers who are pitted, Carl, Ev the Legend and Cam Mackenzie. James is not far away behind these guys, but he's on soft tyres, so he's two stopping here is James. I think maybe he rolled the dice to try and jump these guys in the pits and make a break for it. Hasn't worked out for James, so he's got a mountain to climb here in this race if he wants to have any chance of getting on the podium. CT Sori currently the only driver out of that lead pack to still be out on the track at the moment. James McKenn's picked off Salates up into P8. In the meantime, we've also got Zebra Gaming on the back of Salates now as they come down towards Cops. Is he going to have a chance to make a move? Maybe down the Hanger Straight could be his next probable opportunity here, but Salates is sticking to the back of James in all fairness, so that might prevent Zebra from being able to get too close in the next few corners. So we see CT Sori into the pits. Here comes Zebra Gaming then. Down the Hanger Straight, he's got the slipstream there off of James also to help him out. Gets around the outside of Salates there up into P9, and Ernie's got ahead of Salates as well there up into 10th. So looks like Salates there losing 2 places in a couple of corners. Looks to the inside there of Ernie into Veiled, a bit too far away at the moment. CT Sori into the pits, so is Posty and Penrose. And all putting the hard tyres on. A clear one-stop strategy here from these guys. So that leaves Posty's AI out in front, having started on the hard tyres. I mean, that is not a commentary I thought I'd be saying. So yeah, they might want to lower the AI for these lobbies. Anyway, Ernie battling with a Zebra Gaming as they're coming into Luffield, and Zebra Gaming there staying on the inside, managed to hold on to that one for the time being. Ernie though tucks back into the slipstream here with CT Sori and Ollie looking pretty hungry in the background. Urban Pitbull as well. CT Sori, we're wanting to get on with this. He's got only a 1 lap tyre delta in his favour over the other 3 who are battling over the lead, so really CT Sori is on the back foot quite a bit here, because he's about 5 seconds off of the net lead, about 6 seconds off of the actual leader Posty, who's obviously, this is AI in the car for 1 and 2, still needs to pit. But Carl here is currently trying to make a move here on Ev the Legend, and Posty's AI finally comes in to make his pit stop, as Carl here knocking on the door of Ev the Legend. These two are now going to reassume first and second places here, as we see James McKenn there getting ahead of CT Sori. Oh, and there's contact there as CT Sori's round on the inside there of James, and just in the worst place at the worst time there. Car on the outside's accelerating and you make contact. That's only going to end one way, and unfortunately CT Sori there was the certainly the one that came off worse in that collision, down to P12. Now obviously was P13 for a moment there as Posty was trundling down the pit lane, but CT Sori is going to be gutted about that one, and I think that's his chances of being involved in this battle for the win pretty much gone out the window here, as Ernie's got ahead of Zebra Gaming, now up into 4th place. Ernie really lost out in the pit stops, I'll tell you that. He was up there with the leaders a few moments ago, or a few minutes ago should I say, a few laps ago, but it seems to have all unravelled a little bit for him. But Ev the Legend still out the front with a slender gap over Carl at the moment, as they're coming into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel once again here. Woody with a 3-second penalty for track limits we're seeing. But Carl's got a 3-second penalty as well. That could be pivotal once we get to the end of the race. But Carl on the back of Ev the Legend into Stowe Corner, just a bit too far back still at the moment. Zebra Gaming now looking to try and make a move on Ernie, and into Stowe Corner. He gets that one done now as well. Ollie up the inside of James McKenn as well, up into 6th place. Lovely move there from Ollie. And Penrose also getting ahead of Salates. So the Stowe Corner seems to be a real hotspot here tonight. Funny wave band now on the back of Salates here going into the Vale chicane, but just a little bit too far back at the moment. Cameron McKenzie says, daughter turned my TV off. Oh dear. Is that why you dropped back? Because I saw you were on the back of Evan, Carl, and then in one lap it was just like 2-3 seconds. It was. Well, I guess it must be. But anyway, F the Legend has been passed there by Carl into Brooklyn, so Carl back up into the other race here. Carl though needs to get on with this because he's got that penalty, so he needs to somehow break the overtake mode on F the Legend and try and make a break for it here. But is he going to be able to do that? He'll need to take out a lot of his tyres to be able to break that gap, and then hope that they hold up through the final part of this race. Still a fair way to go here at Silverstone tonight. Ernie's still on the back of Zebra Gaming in the fight for 4th and 5th places. Ollie still sticking to the back of these guys at the moment. Cameron, do I have you on PlayStation? Hopefully I do. On EA or whatever, you know, that thing. I haven't got you, mate. I haven't got you. I don't think. I haven't got you on it. Sorry. You need to admit. I don't know what my EA ID is because Berza already knew it and sent me a request. I don't know what it is. It's similar to my PlayStation name. I need to check it for the next race. Sorry about this. Jordan sends me an invite on PlayStation. He doesn't need my EA ID. He just does it on PlayStation. Sorry. If anyone's listening, if you can invite Cameron, it'd be really appreciated. I need to double check my EA IDs after this as well. But Ollie in the meantime has moved ahead of Zebra Gaming here up into 5th place. James McKen currently on the back of Urban Pitbull in this fight for 7th. So they're coming around Woodcote now, so James McKen, to be fair, those soft tyres have done a fair distance at this point. It's certainly not going to be feeling nice and fresh at this stage in the stint. Ernie is all over the back of Cam in this fight for 3rd. Obviously Cam's AI in the car because, as we just mentioned there, TV's been turned off. But Ernie's going to go through Cam there as they come down towards Stowe. Cameron, I've just said I'm not the coordinator. I'm not the admin of this league. I'm a commentator. Do you understand? I'm not an admin. I'm not an admin. I don't know my EA ID. Jordan is the admin. He sends me an invite on PlayStation. I don't know what my EA ID is. I don't use EA. I use PlayStation. Sorry, mate. I can't help. I'm not the admin for the league. James into the pits. So is Jordan. F the Legend seems to just be falling a little bit off the back of Carl at the moment in the battle for the lead. Carl's got it almost to a second there, just about dipped over a second for a moment, and it's now gone back under again. Let me check, mate, because it didn't come up. I just had a look a minute ago and it wasn't showing. People that are online. Oh shoot, you're showing up now. Did you go offline for a second there? Because just a minute ago I went onto it and it wasn't there. I've just sent you one now, mate. I've just sent you one now. You can get back in. I literally checked about 2 minutes ago and you weren't on there. I swear on my life. You've just come back on it again. You weren't there a minute ago, I promise. Zebra Gaming's got ahead of Ollie up into P5. James there with a 3-second time penalty. Yeah, I see, mate, I see. Sorry about that. You weren't showing on there a minute ago. Literally, I checked a second ago and you weren't there. Yeah, you've just come back on the list now. Here's Ollie on the back of Zebra Gaming in the fight for P5. A little bit too far back to send one there into Village. Aintree, sorry. But here we go then. Ollie's going to have overtake mode down the Wellington straight. Is this going to be a move here in that slipstream. Now look, pushes to the outside here, does Ollie, and we've got a retirement here. James McKen is out of the race. Was it a crash or was it throwing in the towel? I guess we'll find out in a moment. But Ollie there squeezing through ahead of Zebra Gaming up into P5. Is Zebra Gaming going to come back at him here in this fight for P5? Here they come through Woodcote. Zebra Gaming still close on the back of the Aston Martin, but Ollie there's got that straight line speed and has got that one covered there into Cox Corner. That is job done there for him, as Penrose is all over the back of Urban Pitbull here in this fight for 7th and 8th places. Woody there's got a 3-second penalty for track limits. We're seeing that pop up on the top corner. So here come Pitbull and Penrose. They've got Funny Wave Band also pretty close behind us. You're just seeing in the distance there Ollie getting back ahead of Zebra Gaming again around the outside, but Penrose has made that move stick there on Urban Pitbull up into 7th place as they continue around there. Zebra Gaming and Ollie both in the pits at the same time to allow their battle to continue on, I assume, on the other end of the pit lane. Simon Blair, how you doing, mate? You alright? He says, how are you doing? Hope you're good. I'm doing alright. I'm doing alright. Are you good? Still playing the F1 game? It's been a while. Also see Berzer into the pits here at the end of lap 18. And Apex Joe as well. So a few drivers coming in for a late... Is my stream minutes behind? Cameron, I think the stream's a long way behind, because I said that about 5 minutes ago. I think the stream's behind. It's obviously behind, mate. It's obviously behind. Can you not work that out? It's quite obvious, isn't it? Just think about it logically for a second. Right, Ev the Legend still on the back of Carl in this fight for the lead. So not much between these two at the moment. Looks like this one's going to be going down to the wire here for the race win. End of lap 19, 7 laps left to go here in the British Grand Prix for Tier 3 of the Talk Titans Racing League. So Urban Pitbull into the pits here at the end of lap 19. Funny Wave Band continuing around for the time being, but this is going to be where it's all happening. Cameron, I'm confused. I'm very confused. Let's just forget this whole situation. I'm really confused. I think it's best that we forget this, because I'm just lost right now. Ollie's got ahead of Woody in the meantime around the outside, up into 9th place as they're going through the loop. Zebra Gaming's made the move on Woody now up into P10 as well. So Woody there getting absolutely swamped here by these drivers. There's Posty's AI. Yeah, I got you. There you go, Cameron. Right, Cameron, I sent you another one now. If you're watching on lap 20 or lap 21 now, I've just sent you an invite. If you look on my stream, it would have said on the bottom right about 20 seconds ago, 20-30 seconds ago. It would say invite sent to Cam McKenzie if you see it. We've got to watch the leaders here because they're going at it still. Carl and Ev the Legend, although saying that, Carl's just managed to extend the gap a little bit over Ev the Legend over the last few laps. It's pushing a second now, so Ev the Legend's got to be careful. Got to really push on this lap to keep himself in that fight. Ollie's got back ahead of Zebra Gaming again there as we were watching them come through the first couple of corners. As Woody is on the back of Sornick at the moment in this fight for P13 and 14. Jordan Hillier as well, on the back of Berza in the fight for P15 and 16. It's not been the season open that Jordan would have wanted, I'm sure about that. The admin of the TTRL Tier 3 League here this season. He's on the back here of Berza as well. But it seems like he's unable to keep up in a straight line here with the V-carb driver. So closing stages here of the British Grand Prix here for the TTRL Tier 3. Carl still has the lead. Ever the Legend hunting him down in this battle for the lead. 5 laps left in this race. Who is it going to be? Carl's had to measure over the last few laps, but obviously yeah, yeah, I'm seeing the message from Cameron now. You can't make this up. Anyway, yeah, Carl's had the measure since getting ahead, but obviously Ever the Legend knows all he needs to do is stay within 3 seconds, and if he stays within 1 second, he makes it pretty much impossible for Carl to win, because Carl has that 3-second penalty. But even if he drops out of a second, he just needs to more or less be within a couple of tenths of him per lap, and Ever the Legend will win this race on the time penalties here tonight. Funny wave band here on the back of Penrose in this fight for 4th place. These two on very similar age tyres as well. As we're riding on board here with the Alpine, just going down towards Copse Corner once again. Still just a bit too far away at the moment. Ollie and Zebra Gaming still fighting out over 8th and 9th. And Ollie's back ahead there of the Haas once again. So Late's there has just done the fastest lap of the race at this point. Woody's had a moment there going out of the loop. So Woody there's had a bit of trouble by the looks of it. Looks like there's Apex Joe a couple of seconds behind Clen, just behind him in that battle for what's currently 17th place at the moment. But Woody there seemed to have a spin going through the loop out of Aintree. It's knocked him back a little way here. Funny wave band still pressuring Penrose for P4. We got Ev the Legend still very close here to Carl, still currently in a race winning position at the moment. We got this battle continuing to rage on here between Ollie and Zebra Gaming as they come into Vale Chicane once again. Jordan Healy is on the back of Berza as well in the battle for 14th and 15th places, although he doesn't look particularly close to him to mount a challenge at the moment. Clen here is on the back of Apex Joe. Apex Joe I think must have been within a second of Woody at the start of the lap, because he's leaving Clen for dead there as they come down the hanger straight. Penrose getting close to the back of Funny Wave Band there as they went into Brooklyn. Still just a bit too far back at the moment. Pitbull's got ahead of Posty's AI there up into 11th. Zebra Gaming a bit too far back on Ollie this time around. Ollie seems to have consolidated that position pretty nicely over the last lap or so. Penrose getting a bit closer to Funny Wave Band, but not quite in range just yet. He might have a chance though down towards Stowe Corner if he's got good straight line speed. Let's see what that Merc's got in terms of grunt here down the straight. Here we go then, Penrose in the slipstream as Funny Wave Band trying to break that toe. Penrose looks to the inside into Stowe Corner, not quite able to do it just there. Funny Wave Band able to cling on to that one for the time being. Zebra Gaming in the meantime still on the back of Ollie, but Ollie's just about extending that gap over a second now, so he's looking a bit more comfortable as we see Cameron McKenzie on the comeback trail in this race, having left the lobby for a few minutes due to no fault of his own, it has to be said. But then again, you can't really blame, well, to be honest, I don't know how old Cam's daughter is, but I suppose you probably can't blame can't blame her for that. But anyway, Zebra Gaming on the back of Ollie here in the fight for 8th place. Cam trying to close these guys down. He could very much be in with a shout of an 8th place here tonight. I think that will be the summit of his ambitions here in this British Grand Prix. We've got Penrose still hassling the back of Funny Wave Band in the fight for 4th place. The battle at the front's just settled down a little bit now as Carl's sort of just extending to the best part of a second now to Ev the Legend. Penrose still on the back of Funny Wave Band going into Copse, but not really in a position to do a whole lot at the moment. Zebra Gaming is keeping Ollie on his toes at the moment in that fight for 6th place. And Clen is still pretty hot on the rear of Apex Joe at the moment as well, as these guys are coming out onto the Wellington straight once again. Is Clen going to have a chance? Just a bit too far away at the moment. Penrose has got ahead of Funny Wave Band here up into P4, into Stowe corner. That is job done there for Penrose. C-Max just left the session. Apparently running in, well, he's DNF'd earlier on, didn't he? So, of course, that's not going to be too consequential there for him. Carl's just broken the 1 second barrier to Ev the Legend. Now, the big pivotal part is, did Ev the Legend stay within a second over the start finish line? If not, then Carl should be able to extend that gap here on this lap. But only got 2 laps left to go, and Carl needs a 3 second gap to the McLaren driver. He's currently not near that. He'd need to lap a lap quicker for these next 2 laps, would Carl, in order to break that gap and win this race here tonight. Ev the Legend looking on course at the moment to take the season opener here for TTRL Tier 3. Funny Wave Band's on the back of Penrose as they're coming down the Wellington straight down towards Brooklands. He's just a bit too far back at the moment. It's Funny Wave Band. What about Cam Mackenzie? He's looking pretty good here on the back of Zebra Gamer as they're coming out onto the Wellington straight once again. On board with Cam Mackenzie. Look at that. That's a different formula, that is, with the overtake mode, the straight line speed and the fresh tyres coming out of the loop. Cam Mackenzie makes that move way too easily up into 9th place. Question is now, can he chase down Ollie, who's just up ahead? That'll be his target, I'm sure, but it's might be a little bit beyond his reach here at this point. We've got Funny Wave Band here on the back of the league owner here, Penrose, as they're coming out onto the hangar straight once again. But Funny Wave Band just doesn't seem to have the straight line speed here. Penrose comfortably ahead there as they hit Stowe corner. Race leader Carl starting the final lap of the race here for this British Grand Prix TTRL Season 1 on F1 26, the opening round of the season. And Carl's going to take the win on the track, but it's not going to be the win overall because Ev the Legend without a penalty, Carl sporting a 3 second penalty as things stand. I think it's 3 seconds as Ollie's just made the move on Fleming. Fleming seems to be not in the car, so that's the AI in the car there for Fleming. And Cam then moving up into 8th place, gets that position. Has Cam got it in him to close up on Ollie on this final lap? The gap's 1.6 and maybe still 7th place. Seems to have backed up a bit down the start finish straight there. The gap's gone up to 2 seconds just down that one section. As Zebra Gaming now making a move down the inside of Cam as well into Village, and is he going to be able to hold on to that one? Cam on the inside for the next left-hander and gets back up the inside there, but Zebra Gaming's not giving up on this one. They're side by side coming out of the loop onto the Wellington straight, and Cam Mackenzie keeps it around the outside, gets that one held on to for the time being. As Zebra Gaming got anything going into Brooklands, doesn't look like it. Job done there for Cam Mackenzie. Funny Wave Band still pressuring the back of Penrose in that fight for 4th and 5th places. That one I think is going to go down to the wire. That one's going all the way to the checkered flag, but Carl is coming into Stowe corner, has done everything right in his second stint, has held on to the lead, has kept Ev the Legend at bay and shown he had the pace, but Carl's going to miss out on this one due to that 3 second penalty. These fine margins of track limits can make all the difference on the F1 26 game, and Carl's going to come around the final corner and ceremoniously lets the race winner take it on the track as well, as Ev the Legend there takes P1 ahead of Carl, who's second, gets a 10-second extra penalty as well for not serving that penalty in the pits. So Ernie gets 2nd place and Carl drops off the podium. That is a harsh penalty there for Carl. So it's Ev the Legend, Ernie and Penrose who take the podium positions here. Carl is classified 4th ahead of CT Sori P5. Funny Wave Band ends up 6th place ahead of Ollie, who crosses the line in 7th. Zebra Gaming in 8th. Urban Pitbull a little way behind here in 9th place. We see Jordan Hilliard's made up some places, and Cam Mackenzie's crashed out of the race on the final lap, so I'm not 100% sure what's happened there, but Urban Pitbull comes out of the final corner. It's going to be P9 there for Urban Pitbull. Burrs are coming out of the final corner, completes the top 10 with Jordan Hillier over to take 11th. In fact, no, Jordan gets it on a penalty, so Jordan P10, Burrs P11. Apex Joe will be next over the line here to take home 12th place, just ahead of Clen, so he beats him to the line there by half a second. Those two teammates crossing over 12th and 13th. I'm sure Audi will be hoping for better in the next one. Woody comes over in 14th place. Fleming crosses over in P15 with Sornick 16th and Salates there completing the classification there in 17th place, the last driver to finish the race. 22 started the race, 17 finished. A great night of action here at TTRL Tier 3. Really exciting from start to finish, and hoping for more of the same across the season. Thank you, lads, and that was a pleasure. But yeah, well, congratulations to our race winner tonight, Ev the Legend, taking the win in the end, quite comfortably, obviously with the penalties there for Carl, but it was anything but comfortable to watch. And F the Legend there, Ernie and Penrose, the podium finishers. Honourable mentions to Carl with that unserved penalty. I mean, that's a silly rule. Maybe the 3-second penalty was deserved. The 10-second penalty, utterly ridiculous. But a great show that F the Legend and Carl put on for that race victory. But anyway, thanks TTRL for having me, and we'll see you all hopefully for the next one. Cheers everybody, and good night.